And I remember like staring out the window and closing my eyes and being like, all right, God.
Yeah.
You win.
Yeah.
You know? I get it. You know, like I tried everything I could on my own to like get out of that that hole that I was in, the addiction and all the problems that I had. But it never worked on my own will. Whatever I did, I'll go to the gym or get a job or I'm going to work out, like whatever it is to keep myself disciplined and sober just never worked. As soon as something bad would happen, I would off to the races. So I kept getting this suggestion from people like, oh, you got to find God and give it to him and he'll take over. And I kind of didn't understand it. My dad's a Jew. My mom's an Italian Catholic lady. So I didn't grow up with the religion. And so I didn't have I didn't know what God was. So I just was like, I remember closing my eyes and being like, all right, I don't know how to pray. I was like, God, you're there listening. Yeah. I'm ready, you know? And at that moment, right there, I knew that I would never go back to drugs and alcohol.
Let's go, brother.
Davai. Guys, welcome to another episode of Jibber with Jabber. Today we have Jared Flash Gordon. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening?
Thank you for having me.
Ozzy, joining the conversation.
It is good to be here.
Ozzy came here with a platinum mic and we were like, nah, you can't show us up. So we used the golden ones. We just gave him one of those and we were like, no, we're not going to have you.
A black one.
Like, yeah, outdoing us on the first day that you came here.
It's okay, it's okay. It's the first one. I'll keep it down low. Next one, I'll show you the full force, guys.
I bet he's just like that in the gym as well when he's rolling. If somebody comes in and he's like, okay, my friend, no problem, no problem. Yeah. He gives him a false sense of security. And then the second roll, you're like...
It's literally his attitude with everything. He's like, okay, brother, okay, and he folds you in half.
Because he has a kind face, which is worrying to me because I know how good he is.
That's a kind face.
No, it is. You know, people who have wrinkles, like I have that too, around their eyes like this. It means they smile a lot and they laugh a lot.
Yes, yeah.
So that's what it's from. Because he's not old enough.
Definitely laughs and smiles a lot.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so I'm like, yeah, okay, you're a secret ninja. I'm not fucking with you, bro. How are you feeling? I was saying you look tired. You said that you were up till early hours.
Well, I was, I wanted to watch Dustin and Islam last night, and I did. And then literally as soon as the fight ended, I said to myself, "The fuck am I doing awake?" It's 9:30.
I do it every time.
Back at home, we have fights on at regular times.
Yeah.
So you go to sleep. Sometimes it's late, 12, 1 a.m., and then you go to sleep. And I remember like looking through the curtains, and I was like, oh.
It's like Gizmo and Gremlins.
Yeah, so I was a little tired, but I slept for like 4 or 5 hours, got up, ate some food, went in the sauna, so I feel all right now.
You ate some food in the sauna, or you ate some food?
I cooked the food in the sauna.
It's Dubai now, right? So it's coming to that weather where you cook the food on the balcony.
Too, like you got the fireplace going. Yeah. We're in Dubai. It's
That's
perfect.
the way it is. I am actually glad that you didn't come when I invited you to come and watch the fight with me, because you would have been there on your own, because I fell asleep through the whole thing. I literally stayed awake till about 3:45 a.m. and then I went to sleep, and then I woke up again at like 5 because it was starting at 6. And I was like, I can do this and sleep another hour, knowing full well I couldn't do it and I wasn't going to wake up. It was a risk I was willing to take.
Of course.
What did you guys think of the fights?
They were kind of boring. They were all pretty boring. There was some good, Kevin Holland always comes out and performs. The Randy Brown fight was fun. He's a friend of mine from back in New York. We used to train with him at Hamza's. And then Dustin and Islam, I guess, kind of saved the show. But it wasn't the most thrilling card I've ever watched, that's for sure. And a lot of my friends were there, and they were like, texting me like, I'm so fucking pissed.
It was like a fight night.
Yeah, not even that. Sometimes you go to fight nights or just sleeper cards, and you're like, wow, what an amazing night of fights. And then you go to the best pay-per-views, or on paper, the best pay-per-views, and you're like, kind of whack.
What about Strickland?
I mean, that's how Strickland fights, right?
Yeah.
All of his fights are like that normally, where he just throws the 1-2 and the teep, the front kick, sometimes the rear kick, and that's how he fights. But I mean, I can appreciate it because, you know, I'm a fighter, so it's very impressive. His distance management is really good, and he gets the job done, and he wins at a high level. But from a fan standpoint or a casual standpoint, you are not happy.
I'm not happy with that night.
Especially if you're paying for the pay-per-view.
But I mean, that's what Islam said as well after that, when he was like, I kind of saved this card. So, you know, what were your views on the fight?
Like, same as you gentlemen, I missed most of the fun of the show.
Yeah.
So-called. I woke up instantly. I messaged Jared. I said, hey, what's going on? Are you watching? We figured the way out for me to watch the fights. I hit right the spot for Islam and Poirier fight. And I started watching the fight as a fan and as a ex-MMA fighter. Then I quickly turned that off because so many emotions were jumping in. And I said, let me watch this as a coach. Let me watch this as a person with an analytic mindset and collect as much as data as possible from this beautiful exchange of talents, beautiful exchange of mastery from literally two different ends of the world, you know, and these two gentlemen collide, and so much was learned for me. I discovered so many things that I already know, which was facilitated by these gentlemen's actions, and some things that I wanted to see how they match up, and what the outcome would be also was added to my arsenal. So as a coach, I was very happy. As a fan, I think I wanted more.
Wanted more, right?
A little bit more, yeah.
But I mean, what more? What? It was either going to be something. So I said it was either going to be very quick, Islam, 1-2 rounds, or it was going to go 5 rounds.
As a fan, I think everybody was expecting Islam to do what he did. But as a fan, and so many others would agree with me, I believe that they wanted more action from Poirier. For him to just let those hands go.
Didn't seem like he could get going.
It's easier said than done, though.
Of course.
Because people
When we
forget
said that while
that
we
you're
were
doing
on
it
the way
against Islam, right?
Yes,
Of course.
yes,
It's like
yes,
the
yes.
people who say that usually fighting with their little brother, right? They're like, I want to have this. Like,
But at least me and Jared, we have a taste of the cage.
exactly,
So
right.
this guy is fighting in 3 weeks, so he's going to be doing the same thing soon. So,
But you're right about it being Islam, because when Dustin fought BSD, same thing happened. First round, taken down, got his back taken, flattened out, right? Managed to get out of it, and then he was able to turn it on. But with Islam, he just seems so tentative because of the level changes, and you know, when Islam takes you down and you get back up, the last thing you want to do is get taken back down.
Exactly,
so now you don't want to let go, and normally that's when Dustin starts getting going. When he gets back up after a round or a round and a half of being grounded, now he knows, okay, it's my turn. And he felt what you're capable of. But Islam was beating him on the stand-up too, man. He was landing great 1-2s, double jabs and crosses, and he looked really good. The knees in the clinch were also
very
landing
simple,
really well.
fundamental.
nice body shots though while he was in that clinch.
You know, interesting thing. I'm not sure how many people noticed this, but again, I don't want to take away anything from Poirier's corner. Nevertheless, if you listen to the comments, to my experience and to my educated guess, they made a fundamental psychological error of emphasizing certain things in the extreme where they were saying, as long as you don't get taken down, you can win. Like, you cannot emphasize these things like this. It's almost like telling the kid, hey, as long as you're not afraid, you can do this. First thing that the kid is going to think of is being afraid. You know, don't look down. What the person wants to do, wants to look down. You know what I mean? So I think they were a little too extreme in reminding him the tasks.
Yeah, highlighting the thing that he was trying to avoid.
Exactly. Opposed to telling him to avoid the negative. I think from the psychological point of view, it would make more sense, especially in this fight, to point out the positives. Good, keep hitting it. You know what you need to do. You need to hit him, find a way. And obviously that involves don't get taken down.
But he got up quite a few times that that should have given him a bit more confidence when it came to that, right?
Yeah. It did.
He looked tired though. He looked labored and tired, which is understandable when you have
Islam on top of you.
Someone on your back and you're grabbing, you're trying to. I mean, you do jiu-jitsu, so you know how it feels. Your arms gas out, and then you stand up and you're like, oh, you can't even close your hands sometimes because your forearms are so. And you're like, how am I, now? I gotta punch this guy, like so. But man, he's a warrior, Dustin, and he. I mean, I believe he'll be a Hall of Famer.
Do you think he's gonna retire after this fight?
I don't know. He says that it might be his last one, but
every fighter says that, right? And then they go home and they're standing there in the garden chopping flowers, and they're like, "What is this shit, bro?" Like, nothing is happening in their life. And it's like, no one's tried to kill me for about 3 weeks
Chandler, or if Conor beats Chandler, that's a great fight for Dustin to come back to. Another McGregor fight. He's on a win.
Oh my God.
He just came back. He beat Chandler. But I mean, I don't want that to happen. Chandler's actually my teammate. So, but there's definitely money, quote unquote, money fights for him. Even though he's done all of this already, he can continue to make money. But he said it. He said he doesn't want the sport to retire him.
There's any more
So it's like, and I understand, man. He's got what, 40-something fights. So 31 UFC fights, I think they said.
Incredible. You know? Yeah.
A lot of money for chili sauce, man.
He's done really well for himself financially, and he can sail off into the sunset.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Conor? And no, I just mean like, I kind of feel like, and yeah, look, I expect to get slapped in the face if I go into an Irish pub by saying this, but I feel like he's kind of lost his right to come back to those level of fights. Now again, who am I to say that?
Well,
but he's
to like a Dustin fight.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I think they have him fighting Chandler. I mean, Chandler is Chandler. He's a superstar, and a lot of people really like him. He's a fan favorite, but he is what, 2-3 in the UFC.
Yeah,
I think he's got a losing UFC record, and not to take anything away from him, he's fought nothing but studs. But you know, I guess from a UFC standpoint, it's a great comeback fight for Conor. You know, it's not like they're like, all right, you're gonna fight Islam on your return and get crushed. You know.
But how do you feel as a fighter for somebody out there who can literally disappear 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, come back and get such a but what I'm saying is, how long does that but it's Conor, man, last for? Because his last 2 fights were not wins, right?
I think he's on more.
No, but I'm saying So if you look at just the last 2,
right.
I
mean, I get it, but he's.
Because I have a feeling he could come, lose against Chandler,
you know?
disappear again for a year, and come back, and they'll still go, all right, cool, who do you want to fight?
Yeah.
But there's got to be some kind of...
I mean, but it doesn't matter, bro. Because money talks, right? So Conor comes back, everyone's going to watch. He's going to get the big draw, the pay-per-view, the gate. So, I mean, he's done... some fantastic things
for
man.
the sport.
He's
done incredible stuff.
He's elevated the whole sport. So how could you take that away? I don't think you could ever take that away from him.
No, but also for I would like him to come back and keep winning. I wouldn't like to see him come back and have 2-3 more fights and lose
and keep fighting at that level.
Yeah, and after all the stuff that he did, kind of tarnishes his legacy. Money is one thing.
I think he's already tarnished it.
You think?
Yeah, 100%. The losses, the way he's acted after losses,
Your wife sends me on.
Your wife sent me DMs.
Yeah, your wife sent me DMs, you bastard. And he's got like his legs over there. He doesn't care. Yeah.
He, outside of the cage, has made himself look like an idiot as well. And, you know, the guy definitely let the money get to his head, it looks like. I mean, I can't blame him. If I had as much money as him,
bro, if I had an extra 2,000 dirhams today, I would have not come to this episode.
You might not ever see me again. You know?
I literally would have just made you still come if I had another 10,000 dirhams and not even answered your message, bro. And that's 10,000 dirhams. Let alone 10 million, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
10 million. He's worth way more than that, and we know that obviously. Yeah. But so I mean, there are things about him that I like though. He has some redeeming qualities.
Great actor. Roadhouse just came out.
That was terrible. So bad, dude. Did you watch that, Ozzy?
Yeah.
Oh,
But then again,
terrible.
did it need to be any better? That's what I'm
Man,
saying.
Jake Gyllenhaal is a great actor.
Yeah.
You know, but it was a weird movie. It was so strange because they were in Florida and
Nothing
in
made
the Keys,
sense, right? Yeah.
and I was like, what the fuck are they doing?
Yeah.
Like, what is this? Like, I never watched the original Roadhouse, so I didn't have any context, but it was not a good movie. And he's a terrible actor.
But did he need to be a terrible actor?
I mean, I feel like they
Like
could have reeled him in a little bit.
imagine the Connor fans. You know those diehard Connor fans
God.
that even after a loss they still message and
Yeah,
think
yeah.
like it was a win kind of thing.
right.
And they must have loved that shit.
Oh yeah. Listen, he
was-
broke
I mean, it was him.
records. He broke records.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Think
was
about
him, dude. Like
Yeah.
the role personified him as a fighter and as a person, and
Yeah. He didn't have to act much.
Yeah,
it was just a little over the top. Like,
Yeah,
But-
that's it. That's what we've got to do right now. Let's talk about your fight coming up next.
Okay.
Obviously, you're prepping for the fight. I initially found out you were here, not from a text message from you going, yo, buddy, I'm in town. What's happening? From seeing something on Instagram. I mean, I'll just congratulate you on being the king of douchebagistan for that move. You were saying, I'm here. I'm kind of scared. I'm kind of... Like, and I know that's nothing to do with the fight.
in the post.
But yeah, it was quite a nice post to see because it was vulnerable and also man on the mission-ish kind of like be careful because I'm scared and it's not a good thing when I'm scared kind of thing.
Well, yeah, that and the whole like premise and purpose of that post was I'm scared, and that's why I'm here, and I'll do anything I can to win. If you told me to eat dog shit and it would help me win the fight, I would eat dog shit.
There are a few places in Dira, my friend, part of Dubai you have not seen yet. I will take you for that dog shit. my friend.
So I'm not afraid, obviously, to fight. I'm not afraid of being on the other side of the world. I'm not, being alone. I've done plenty of stretches of alone time and in much scarier places. So, but I'm afraid of mediocrity, which is what I said in the post. I'm afraid of not reaching my potential because I know that it's there, and I'll do it. Like I said, I'll do anything I can to reach that. So it was more of a motivational post, trying to get people like to realize like, hey, I'm a fighter and I'm scared too, but this is what I'm doing to lessen the chances of failure. So, and everything it's so strange, man, how I believe God works in the world, and the universe, and it's like months and months ago I had messaged Ozzy and I was like, man, I'm gonna come out there soon. He's like, yeah, brother, come on. I've known him since I'm like 20 or 21 or something, and from back in New York. And I fought at MSG, I won, I had wrist surgery, and then I came back really fast from the surgery, and they call me, hey, you want to fight in Saudi Arabia? I said, of course. And then I was like, wait a minute. It's on the other side of the world. And I was like, I know who to call. And here, now, and like, I don't think there was a better decision that I could have made than coming here, acclimating to the 8-hour time change, the weather, so many factors that go into fighting and the outcomes of fights that people don't have any clue about. So I learned from Bilal, though, when I came here with him last time when he was fighting Sean Brady. He came, trained with Islam and Khabib, and I was here for 3 weeks with him. And the whole 3 weeks, I was like, I barely slept. Like just that last week, the last week that I was here, I was just started to like acclimate, really. So I knew like I better get to that side of the world ahead of time, and
real quick, yeah.
And it worked out, and I'm still scared. I'm still afraid of, even when I win this next fight, I'm still gonna be afraid because I'm the kind of guy that I'm like, the glory of winning will last for a day or two, and then I'm like, what's next?
Yeah.
What's next? And I'm looking for validation from, and Like, I'm like, bro, I fought last week. Don't you remember I won? Like, and people are like, yeah, all right, go do it again.
Yeah.
You know, and it's now I'm like, you know, the emotional roller coaster of fighting and the highs and the lows. It's like an emotional hangover after you fight because all that preparation and anticipation, and then the climax, fight week, the climax of fight week, making weight. Oh, yay. Oh, now you got to fight night. Winning the fight, the trauma to your body, and then you're on a plane and ride home, and you're like, "What the fuck just happened?" It's all over already. Yeah. And then you're looking at your phone, like, or looking at others for, I need more validation, and then it's like, "What's next?" So I'm always in that flight or fight mode. And Ozzy said it to me best the other day. He said, you feel like this because you're trying to self-preserve, you know? And not only am I trying to self-preserve and just live, but I'm trying to, you know, get even further and further. So, yeah, I am afraid, but not of, I'm not afraid of, you know, tangible things or, you know, the circumstances. I'm afraid of,
you're afraid
not
of
succeeding.
Yourself as well.
Yeah,
like being alone.
That's what it is. It's me. I'm afraid of what's going on in here,
Mm.
man. That's like the worst place for me sometimes.
Bro, that's why I'm afraid of running, bro. I know it sounds fucking stupid, bro.
You don't want to get hit by a car?
No. I wish the car would hit me. Nothing hits me, bro, and I have to keep running, bro. Like, when I run, no, I swear, when I run, I'm alone with myself.
Here we go.
If I'm doing jiu-jitsu, there's some other dickhead on top of me and we're doing it. When I can start thinking, I start thinking about, what's the theory of relativity? What happens when this happens? Did the Adam really eat the apple? Like some shit that I could never find the answers to, and then I'm just sitting there on 10K thinking about dumb shit that I've got no control over, and that's when like, it's good to be with yourself. I'm very good at being alone. I don't need company, but sometimes I need just that little bit of company just to break it down a little bit. Put some breaks in it.
You need like some decompression from yourself.
That's mad. I was thinking that from what you were saying, like back in the day, warriors would go, they'd fight, and they'd take the spoils. They'd be like, now this is my land. You gotta go, sorry, am I in 6C? On the airplane? Okay, I'm going back home now. Like, do you know what I mean? There's no real kind of like tangible thing. And on top of that, you'll put a picture on your Instagram with your hand raised, and some guy will go, yeah, but you're not really a good fighter underneath it. Or that was a shit fight. And you're like, I almost died in, like, do you know what I mean? Like what I just gave in those 25 minutes, and what you don't see before and all that shit. And you have the balls to say, I wouldn't have need him that way. You wouldn't have need anyone anyway, bro, because you're just sitting there in Tesco's. Bleep. Like, it's crazy, the psyche. Oz, how are you feeling about the fight now, training with him now? And what does it mean to you being, because I'm assuming you left all your coaches at home, right?
Yeah, they'll all meet us in Saudi.
Right. So how much pressure is that for you now to take that over and be like, I'm the guy? Because whether you like it or not, you're responsible, right? Now, and everything that you say now.
So now look at this. Everything what we heard from Jared, double it. Because Jared, he has to care about one guy in that cage, and that is him. Okay? As a coach, I have to care and worry about his opponent's actions, and my actions. This adds on a humongous amount of pressure on my shoulders, yet from my point of view, from my perspective, that's what fuels me to do my job better. And there's a lot of joy in Jared being here for me, a lot of joy for me in Jared being here due to
he said the truth there. He'll say, Jared is lucky to have me around. Oh shit! I mean,
you're so lucky you came
recording. It's recording. I mean,
where's
I'm
the guy
lucky
who cuts
Jared
this
is
around? You know what to cut. You and me will talk, brother. English is only my third language, so please forgive me.
It's only my 15th language. Don't worry. Let's go.
So, because me and Jared, we go way back, and to have him here, to have somebody trust me and say, hey, I'm trusting my health, my fight, and my career into your hands. Let's work. that gives me fire. That gives me so much ambition, assertiveness, and time to work. Time to work. A lot of analysis goes into it. A lot of work where Jared comes in, he trains with me, he goes home to rest. I go home to think, okay, what happened today? What we're gonna do tonight? What we're gonna do tomorrow? How we're gonna shift things? How we're gonna change things? And finding that language where this is not just an amateur fighter who came to me. I tell him red and he does only red. This is a fighter who's been around for a long time, who fights at the world-class level, and I have to communicate to him my information. I have to tell him things to do in the language that is acceptable to him, that is profound to him, and that facilitates what he already has. Having somebody like Jared coming to train with me, it's much harder than having an amateur kid training with me, because now it's not about me just teaching him the moves. It's about me understanding him, knowing him as close as he knows himself, and more sometimes, to make the best out of what he already has. So this task, I believe, as a coach, is more challenging than having a clean slate and having a fighter who's been training with you for years and you've been building him and you know all the skills that he has came from you. It's relatively easier to navigate him through the strategy of the fight rather than somebody who is already established world-class athlete coming in and saying, train me.
Okay, so for both of you, this question comes. How difficult is it for you when he says, he sees something from the outside and goes, let's try changing this and doing that, when you're as accomplished as you are? And how difficult is it for you to say to him, I want to change this from my side?
Go ahead, Jared.
And what are these changes, if we can say it?
So for me, it's really easy because, first of all, I trust him and I know his capabilities, and I can see it in the way that he is able to deliver the message. And then he shows me, do it like this, and I'm like, oh, that feels way better. And we come from a similar background. You know, I'm like a grappler at heart. So you take a guy who's like a Muay Thai fighter, you know, can't grapple or is not really a good grappler. It's going to be harder to convey certain techniques to him, but we have like the same stature. We fought pretty similarly.
Yeah.
You know, obviously some things are different. We move differently, but we had like the same goals. Punch the guy in the face, take him down and beat him up on the ground and try to sub him or finish him with ground and pound. Or if your setups are good enough, you'll knock the guy out on the feet. And I know when okay, so I've been doing jiu-jitsu for 18 years. I train at Kill Cliff Fight Club in Florida, some of the best fighters in the world. I've sparred and trained and fought some of the best fighters in the world. And I've never, only a few people have what Ozzy possesses. And his feel, the way his hips move, and his sensitivity to, like, so jiu-jitsu is not just, oh, you're doing something, so I'm going to do something. When you're doing it for long enough, you're going off of just muscle twitch and the feel of someone moving. So you should be, if you're a very advanced player, you should be able to close your eyes and just, and that's what I'll do. If I'm rolling with guys that are, you know, not on my level, I'll close my eyes and I'll do rounds with my eyes closed just because it gives me a handicap. And then I open my eyes and I'm like, wow, now it's way easier. It's like playing a video game. And so when I roll with him, I'm like, the fuck have I been doing for the last 18 years?
Yeah, you're like, all right, let's roll.
You know, like there's like some things that like, I'm like, all right, I'm like doing all right here.
Yeah.
And then like he'll switch it up and I'm like, well, what the fuck? Like, how come no one ever showed me that? So, and I've been telling like my wife, Bilal, I'm like, bro, I'm learning so much. You know, things that I was just ignorant to because no one ever showed me it.
Yeah.
So for me, it's easy to say, okay, I'll change it because I know that it's going to work, you know? And then, you know, maybe there was actually one thing the other day where you were like, with that with the asymmetric shot when you were like shoot and then throw your foot
The
that way.
pendulum
I'm like,
swing.
it kind of feels weird for me.
Yeah.
And then I started doing it. I'm like, all right, I could do it, but it just wasn't something that
Your body
I was used to doing, and maybe that I should add to my arsenal right now. Maybe later on, as
you don't want to do it and not get it right.
Exactly. Well, not even that. It's like this feels really hard for me and
So I
what
want to
I'm
lock
capable
it down
of.
first before.
So
I
let
can-
me like drill this, and then maybe I'll use it later. But that was it so far. And I'll just answer for Ozzy. He doesn't have any qualms, or I don't think he gives a fuck about telling me what I should or shouldn't do. He tells me, you're doing it wrong. Do it this way.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's any.
He's got that. He's got that
not
Russian
shy.
style. From,
Yeah.
Remember Rocky? He's like,
Yeah, exactly.
if he dies, he dies.
Exactly. Travis, if you die,
Sometimes they die, my friend. This is not a problem, bro.
Thank
So-
you, Jared. Thank you.
make it easy for him.
No, I like that what you were saying about the blindfolded thing, because it's kind of like, you know, in Wing Chun they do a lot of sticky hands, and if you look at that, you're like, why are you doing sticky hands? Just sitting there, just. But it does give you that kind
feel,
of
yeah.
the push pull off pressure when somebody's kind of putting how much to add on you and how much not to add. So that's really interesting, man.
Yeah, next time you roll with a guy that's like not on your level, just close your eyes and just move based
No,
off
but
of
the
his
thing
muscle.
is, but the thing
twitch.
is, I'm shit, so they're all not on my level. So if I close my eyes, I'm even worse. So it's like
So-
I need to be like, excuse me.
Yeah.
Just
Or
put
tell
this
them,
on for a little
tell
bit,
them
my
to close
friend.
your eyes. But someone like Khabib or Islam or
Yeah, next time
like
I roll
the
with
way
Khabib, for
Ozzy-
sure, I'll close my eyes.
The way Ozzy feels like they're always 2-3 steps ahead of the other player.
Yeah. Bilal was telling me that as well when
Always.
when he was with.
They know when I put you here, you only have 1 or 2 options. So I know exactly where you're going to go when.
It's where your hand.
when
'Cause
I-
if I push
exactly.
you this way, your hand is 100% going to post there, because
Right.
if not, your face is going to post
So-
there, and you don't want that.
But they have that. They've been doing it for so long. The sensitivity is. They just know what's coming. You know.
Bro, Javier was telling me that when he was in Dagestan, they'd have these barbecues where they're really into horse riding and stuff. So they'd go, Islam and all these guys, they'd go to the barbecue, and then literally they'd bring the kids, and then all day during the barbecue, the kids are just wrestling on and off, on and off, on and off, on and off, non-stop.
This is how we grew up. man.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't think people quite understand that these guys are.
So weird because like I always tell people like, man, when Khabib was 13, he was in Dagestan wrestling. When like someone like Floyd Mayweather was 13, he was in the boxing ring. When certain guys were wrestling back in Ohio or wherever, Iowa, they were like 7 years old. Like
100%.
when I was 13,
Yeah, we're gonna get into this
I was
now.
selling cocaine. Man.
Yeah.
So like, it's so funny. I'm like, man, I wish not that I wish, because this is my journey.
Yeah.
And this is my time. Everything, everyone has their own timing. And I believe God has
100%
made me come to this point for whatever reason it is. You know? So it's just hysterical to me. Like when I see these guys, like last night, I was texting with my wife and she was watching the fight at home while I was watching it here. And she's like, how do you get as good as Islam? And I'm like, well, he has about 20 more years experience on me, And she was like, man, he's a savage. And I'm like, yes, he is. Yeah. So it's like, it's funny when you watch and you're like, you could just see it in certain people. Like, yeah, this guy has
No, but still, I get what you're saying, because even Bilal, Bilal started late. Fighting.
He wrestled.
A lot of people started late.
He wrestled though.
He wrestled, but like fighting MMA, it was really late. And there's that side of it. And that just shows even more of how much of a beast you could have been if you started young. My kids are 6 and I got 6-year-old twins and they're doing jiu-jitsu already. But also at the same time, I'm a very firm believer in, that whole Back to the Future, don't mess with anything in the past because it will mess with the algorithms and everything. That if one step went that way instead of this way, I wouldn't have met my wife. I wouldn't have my kids. Like
all
as
that,
much shit that happened along the way.
It was written, right?
Everything had to have, even the wind had to blow in that way for you to turn your head away from the thing and then see her there. Just like, you know what I mean? Like little things. So I would never have
like
nothing
how
is for nothing.
I was saying before, like, I don't know, I don't forget what had happened. I was on Instagram or something and I saw Ozzy and I'm like, man, he really seems like he's doing well. And then I just reached out to him. And then, everything just has its and connections. You know what I mean? So, but I mean, I am happy with where I am. So
it's incredible, and even like your story is incredible. I don't know how far back you want to take it.
Let's go, bro.
But like the inspiration
I'll take you all the way back.
out of MMA as well. It's kind of crazy because so a lot of fighters can inspire people through MMA, and that's where they inspire them from. But you're touching people, not in that way, but in so many different angles in life. So people with drug addiction, people who have dealt with molestation, people who have.
Yes.
So again, you get something, but something pure comes out of it at the same time, out of everything that happens, right?
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about the whole. So before, you were saying, I know your story very well. When you got molested at camp, right? This is coming from a father's perspective, because until I had kids, I was a happy-go-lucky guy. Now, if somebody looks at my kids wrong, I'm like, I'm ready to kill all of you. I'm ready to. I'm like, before I would say it, man. If anyone did anything to my family, I'd kill you. But now I'll do it. I'll 100% kill another man.
Of course.
Right? How was it with you when you went through something like that? And did you speak to your parents about it after?
So I was 8 years old. I was in a sleepaway camp in Pennsylvania. And yeah, I was assaulted by a male counselor, like full on. And no, I didn't tell anyone. I just stuffed it down. And the first person I told was my wife when I was 23. So I didn't tell anyone for 13, 14 years.
Okay, I just want to break this down a lot again, because it's coming from a fatherly thing. What was the reason that you didn't, and what do you think would have changed that? Is there anything that, I mean, that your father could have done to make you feel more comfortable saying something like that? Or is it a case-by-case thing? Or
I don't know why I didn't. I think I was just like embarrassed and scared, you know, to tell them. So, and I didn't want anyone to know. So I just, you know, zipped my mouth. But it came out in other ways. You know, I came home from camp, and I remember like fall had started, school started, and I remember being in class and like getting like flashbacks of it. And like I developed this mechanism where like if I thought about it, I would picture a guillotine coming down on my head, and like it would go away. I would stop thinking about it. And I could like picture my head being chopped off and like rolling away. And then like poof, like I would stop thinking about it. So I would just, you know, I was just stuffing it. And I turned 9 that September. School had started. I have an older brother, Dylan, who's like 20 months older than me. And we always we were like outside kids. We played outside all day. Like after school, we were outside. And we had family friends that lived in the same neighborhood that had children that were like 13, 14. And they were like smoking pot and stuff. So that's how it started for me. And I mean, looking back at it, I was obviously trying to, self-medicate, you know? So started smoking pot, drinking. And then by the time I was 11, I was smoking pot every day. And by the time I was 13, I was selling drugs. So, but you know, it's different in New York, America. Just the access to all of that stuff is just so easy, you know? And then, that's, you know, as the years went on, it got worse and worse. My addiction turned into other substances, other drugs, and other whatever else, sex, money, gambling, all sorts of anything to get outside myself and to feel different, I would do, you know? And then I found fighting. And I was like, oh, I love this shit. And I fell in love with it right away. And it became an addiction. Train. But I was also, you know, still addicted to drugs.
Yeah, at the same time.
So, you know, eventually I got sober when I was 27. I've been sober since. So it's been like 8.5 years. But it was a long, bumpy, shitty road. You know, jail. I almost went to prison for my whole life. Multiple overdoses, other close brushes with death, you know, violence, a lot of violence, and, you know, criminal lifestyle where, you know, I was committing felonies regularly and hurting people physically and mentally to get what I needed. But I wouldn't change it because it made me who I am now, and it was a gift. I couldn't see it at the time, but it was a gift that I think God was like, you're gonna have to go through this, but then you're gonna be able to change a lot of people's lives. Someone literally messaged me earlier, and I don't even remember who this person is, on Instagram. Just randomly message. Let me see real quick. Hold on. Said, I love you, Jared. Your story is what gives me hope for my brother. Probably, I don't know what he's referring to. I guess some sort of, it might have been a story the UFC did on me. Sorry. My neck is itchy.
From all the chokes
I probably watch it 10 times. I appreciate you, bro. You're the shit.
Yeah.
So, like, people all over the world contact me, from Russia, from Australia, from South America, Canada, all over the States. Constantly, I'm getting messages from people. How did you stop doing drugs? I'm depressed. I'm suicidal. And that's something I dealt with also. I tried to kill myself multiple times. It's never successful for some reason. And so I get an influx of messages constantly from people looking for help. And, you know, people also appreciate me as a fighter. So it was a curse, and now it's a gift. And I wouldn't have it any other way. And I think, like, I'm the best I've ever been. It's so funny because I was watching Dustin last night. He's 35, and he's like, this is probably my last fight. And I'm like, fuck. Yeah. I'm 35. I feel like I'm just getting going now.
Yeah.
It's the best I've ever been. It's the healthiest I've ever been. I'm the most spiritually, emotionally fit that I've ever been. I have, like, all of everything's in order, you know?
Yeah, God bless you.
My relationships, my whatever, finances, you know, I have 2 homes. I have a dog that I can take care of. When I was shooting heroin, I would have sold my dog for heroin. Here, take this fucking dog.
Well, where on that journey did you find God? And because you had 2,700 times to find God in that journey, right?
Right.
Which one of them, and why was that different to all the others?
So my last, like, serious run with drugs was, like, a very dark time for me. I was homeless. I was on the street. I was doing a lot of illegal things, and I was shooting cocaine. Like,
oh, wow.
That became my thing. I was addicted to heroin, but I only did it because if I didn't do it, I would be dope sick. So, but I really just wanted to shoot cocaine. It was like my thing. Crack or coke, I would shoot it. And it made me fucking crazy. I would start hallucinating because I'd be up for days. I'd be hallucinating. I think people were following me. People were trying to rob me. So, like, I was, like, in and out of psychosis. And then finally I overdosed. I got found in a hotel in Queens, and it was Christmas Eve. I overdosed. I went to the hospital. I woke up the next day. I woke up on the 26th of December in the hospital, and I left the hospital. I got high one more time because I was really sick, and I went to detox. And then they put me in this insane asylum because I had no insurance and I couldn't afford to, like, go to a luxury rehab. So they put me in this insane asylum, and, like, 95% of the people there were mandated by courts.
Oh, wow.
So, like, they were all, like, criminals, but instead of going to prison for, like, 2 years or 3 years, go do a drug treatment program. So, you know, it was like this sounds crazy, but like, so after a while, I kind of became institutionalized because I was in like 33 or 34 different facilities in all of my jails and rehabs and crisis centers, homeless shelters, psych wards, all sorts. Like, I was in 33 or 34 facilities. So like when I would go to these places, like it was easy for me. I would go in there. I'd be like, I know what to do. Like I know how to handle myself.
I've been in worse places.
And in places like this. So I remember like being in there, and it was January. Well, I went to detox on the 26th. And then they brought me to the insane asylum. I detoxed, they brought me to the insane asylum. And it was like February 4th or 5th. And I remember staring out the window, and it snowed it was like nonstop snow, like 5 feet of snow. And I was like, and I remember thinking like, fuck, I'm stuck here. But like Christmas had just passed, you know? So like there were still Christmas decorations up. So, you know, like that Christmas cheer. I don't know if you're used to that out here.
I was raised in London, bro. It's the worst cheer ever. Bro, you'd be surprised.
The worst cheer ever, bro.
Yeah. Dude,
Bro, don't talk about Christmas like that. Anyways.
You had a bad Christmas, but still, I just feel like, yeah, we don't do the caroling. It's not like Home Alone Christmas. Like,
so anyways, yeah, that's how it is in New York. You know, everything, the cheer, the Christmas, you know, the decorations. So I remember thinking to myself, like, oh, fuck, I'm stuck here. It's like, I can't go outside. There's 5 feet of snow on the ground. And it was been like 3 weeks since I had used drugs. So I started to like feel a little better. So like being dope sick feels like you have the flu times 100.
Oh my God.
Coupled with like severe depression and anxiety. Wow. So you can't sleep because you're so like, like, you know. So, but I started to feel a little better. I was still sick, but I remember I had like a hoodie on and sweatpants, and I had a full belly. I just had ate dinner. I remember it was a Friday evening, and like everyone was like, people were playing cards. They had like movies on. They would give us like free time on Fridays. I was eating like peanut butter M&Ms, and I remember like staring out the window and closing my eyes, and being like, all right, God.
Yeah.
You win.
Yeah.
You know, like, I get it. You know, like I tried everything I could on my own to like get out of that hole that I was in, the addiction and all the problems that I had. But it never worked on my own will. Whatever I did, I'll go to the gym or get a job, or I'm gonna work out, or like whatever it is to keep myself disciplined and sober, just never worked. As soon as something bad would happen, I would off to the races. So I kept getting this suggestion from people like, yo, you gotta find God and give it to him and he'll take over. And I kind of didn't understand it. My dad's a Jew. My mom's an Italian Catholic lady. So I didn't grow up with the religion. And so I didn't know what God was. So I just was like, I remember closing my eyes and being like, all right, I don't know how to pray. I was like, God, you're there listening. I'm ready, you know? And at that moment, right there, I knew that I would never go back to drugs and alcohol. And then over time, I realized the drugs and the alcohol were just a symptom of my real problems. So like I only did drugs and alcohol because I needed to cope with my real issues, my character defects and shortcomings, which could be anything, you know? So once I was able to like clear my brain of the fog and the drugs, got like a little, you know, healthier, then I was able to start figuring out what was really wrong with me inside. And obviously the sexual assault, whatever else I went through as a child, you know, my insecurities, my, you know, whatever it is, I had to deal with it and learn how to deal with it. And then things started to get better, you know? And I remember being in that crisis, the psych ward, and being like, I was a pro fighter. I was 9-1 at the time as a pro.
That's crazy.
And I was like, man, I better start working out. So I remember getting down, do some push-ups. I couldn't even do 5 fucking push-ups.
Oh wow.
I went into the treatment center, into the psych ward, 150 something pounds of skin and bones. In like 50 days, I was 210 pounds because I hadn't eaten for months.
Yeah.
And I was shooting coke, which is an upper, so you're like burning calories like nonstop. Great for cutting weight.
That's the real mental diet.
And you know, I'm in a New York State run facility, so the food is not high quality, very bad, mostly carbs, and I was so hungry because I had barely been eating. And once my appetite came back, I was just shoveling plates of food down, and I walked out of there 210. And I remember trying to do push-ups. I couldn't even do 5 push-ups, and I was like,
well, at least you can do 10 now, so it's
what's that?
I said that you can do 10 now, so it's good that you got your health back and stuff. Like, man, that's insane, man.
But it took me. It was a lot of work. Like, you know, I went to rehab, but like, that was just the beginning. That was just separating me from the drugs and the street. Now I had to figure out everything else.
Yeah,
I had to climb out of a major hole, dude, and I'm still climbing out of the hole mentally sometimes. And that's like where God comes in, man. As long as I'm able to always hand my will over to Him, you know, thy will be done, then things work out for me, man.
SubhanAllah, man. It's like all those times. Think about the time that everything was fucked, and think about the time from when you asked for help. Yeah. How quick everything changed. Do you know what I mean?
Within weeks and months.
It's crazy. I don't think people understand the power.
I went to rehab.
Yeah.
In 13 months, I was in UFC after that.
And this guy was showing up to training, sparring with us while he was going through all that.
Yeah.
And I told him this before, he was my favorite sparring partner because this guy was showing up for a fight. Every sparring session was a fight with this freaking guy, man. I was like, why is like everybody else I was sparring with, they were cautious with me. This guy would show up, bite the mouthpiece, and move forward. I used to love it.
He used to love it there. It was like it was like heating. It was like under the roof, and it was like, well, this is home now. Like
at Henzo's too, man. And he would walk in there, Henzo would talk all his shit, you know. That place was great, man. That place really molded me as well, man. I learned a lot of things in that room, and from all the people that were in there. But yeah, I don't know how people. I don't know like what your stance is on religion, but I don't know how people like go on every day.
Right?
Yeah,
without
impossible.
Not knowing.
Impossible.
Even if like let me tell you something. So Alcoholics Anonymous, where I got like how I got sober, they tell you like you gotta find a higher power. Part of the steps. Oh, so you know. And you know, shit will happen.
Yeah.
And they used to say like, I don't care if the doorknob is your higher power. If you believe that this chess piece right here is greater than yourself, then it's easy for you to let go and just have faith and trust. So I don't know how people will go on like just on their own will, man.
It's insane.
I can't comprehend it anymore, at least.
Yeah, it's insane. And like I said, it's crazy how when you start to look into religion, whatever it may be, things start to make sense.
Faith.
Like I'm Muslim.
Faith and hope.
When I start reading stuff and looking up and stuff, and I'm like, these books are literally guidebooks.
Dude,
it literally just gives you the answers so simply.
Bro. Yes.
So simply. Like it's not even a case of you have to look too deep into it. It's like you can literally just flick the page and open it, and they'll be like,
hits the spot.
It hits the spot. It's got something to do with it. And you know, AA, I had a lot of friends in AA, and I like the way AA is. Like, you know, forgiveness. I had friends call me up like, hey, listen, that one time I stole that thing from you. I'm sorry, man. Like, you have to apologize for everything, bro.
They made amends.
They make amends. And it's just like, you can see how that's literally, it's not just about the alcohol. It's about cleaning your spirit from all of these demons inside that are telling you this, this, and this, and this. It's mad.
I don't have a drug and alcohol problem anymore, but I will always have a thinking problem.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to come to realize, that the drugs and alcohol aren't the problem.
But who doesn't have a thinking problem? Though?
Exactly. Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
And you know, because once I got rid of the drugs and alcohol, other things came into play.
Dude, I think the funniest thing is that people, they think about humanity and human beings and they don't get the timelines right. They don't realize that us as humans are pretty much babies when it comes to understanding and knowledge. Like before religion and stuff like that, people were burying girls in the ground when they were born because they didn't want daughters, and like crazy stuff was happening. And it's like people think, oh yeah, we've been here because you look about 100 years. And bro, in the last 100 years before that, the achievements we've made in 100 years before that, in 1,000 years, those achievements weren't made. Like, do you know what I mean? How it's sped up kind of thing. So people don't get it. One thing I want to talk about, you and your missus have known each other for a long time, right?
Yes.
I think that's a great testament to her for still having you around.
Imagine.
Like honestly,
we need her over here on the podcast and give her one of these belts.
Honestly,
sticking around with me.
Like that's.
I think
I'm not even saying a keeper, bro. Like she decided to keep you.
She's a keeper, yeah. Yeah, I've known her since first grade. So like I've known her for 30 years, and I'm 35 or 29 years.
That's very rare, bro. I know. Like that's rare in general.
Yeah, in general.
Yeah.
Without your shit that comes with it and all the other stuff. Just that in general.
Without the bonus material.
Without the bonus DVD is like crazy, bro. So that's nuts.
Yeah,
I'm sure you guys have your ups and downs, but like, I mean, the
ups and downs is not the.
But I mean, compare them to life's ups and downs that you've had.
Yeah,
it's roses.
She's been through a lot as well.
Yeah.
A lot of tragedy on both sides of me and her. And yeah, we started. So I met her in first grade. We went to school together for a while. And then when I was 12 or 13, so her father died in a plane crash, his own plane. And she eventually, not that long after that, moved to Florida. The same year, my father's business actually exploded and killed a bunch of firemen in New York City.
Oh, wow.
And we were living in Long Island. We couldn't afford to live there anymore, really. So we moved from there to Queens.
Culture shock.
Major culture shock. And so I didn't see Christina, my wife, again until we were like 18. And she had to came back up north to go to Rutgers because she was a gymnast. She was on the, college gymnastics. And I saw her at a party. And I was like, oh shit, there's Christina, Miss Gambino. And we hit it off right there. She's like, yeah, I'm in gymnastics still. And she's been doing gymnastics since she's a toddler. And I'm like, yeah, I was an amateur fighter. I had like 1 or 2 amateur fighters. I was like, yeah.
You were like, yeah, I sold some coke to your coach the other day. Don't worry, I know what your gym is, bro.
I was like, yeah, I'm a fighter now. And she's like, no way. And I thought I was like such a tough guy. And
he had the last stripe on the white belt. He's I do jiu-jitsu.
Exactly.
Let's go get some acai after.
So that was it, man. We started hanging out, and she was going to school. We started dating. We fell in love with each other. We dated, but I wasn't using opiates yet, like painkillers or heroin, but I was doing every other drug, I was an addict, and I was selling drugs and I was fighting. I thought I was this, I don't know what I thought, but shortly after that, I started doing opiates, like painkillers, and, we went through a lot together. She broke up with me like more than 2 or 3 times because of my addiction. And then finally, I got caught with needles, something like that. And she left for like 4 or 5 years. And we didn't speak for 4 or 5 years. And then I got sober, got into UFC. And then one day I was like, let me text Christina, see what she's up to. So I text her, and she goes, I said, hey, Christina, how are you? And she goes, Jared. Or she called me. I was like, oh, shit, she's calling me. I answered, and she's like, Jared. I was like, yeah. She's like, how'd you know? And I was like, how did I know what? She goes, I've had your number blocked for 5 years. This morning,
talk about God.
I decided to unblock you. And now you're calling me. Like, within a few minutes after I'm like, oh no, I've just been calling you every day. You finally, I was joking. Yeah. But I was like, are you serious? She's like, Jared, I've had you blocked for 5 years. I unblocked you a couple hours ago, and now you're calling me. And I haven't even thought about her, really. And I was, doing my thing, running around with other girls.
Yeah.
And, how we say whores.
I'll cut that out.
Whores.
Yeah.
Back in New York, So, and then that was it. She's like, listen, I'll talk to you, but the only thing we're going to talk about is God.
Wow.
And that's how it started. We started, sharing our views on our faith. And she came to New York. I saw her. She came to Thanksgiving because she's known my family for years and years, So, and then that was it. I knew right away, like, all right, I'm gonna marry her. It's not like I had to get to know her.
Yeah.
I've already known her for 25 years. So I asked her to marry me, and then we got married, and
you've been making out like hell ever since.
This is like my first public announcement, but she's pregnant right now. So,
as we say here, Mabruk, my friend. I will have an envelope for you with a little present in it. The baby gift, baby warming gift.
But
That's amazing news, man.
So it's crazy, yeah. And like, she went through a lot with me because of me. And, both of our families have had a lot of ups and downs. But we both come from really good families, and now we're married. We just bought our second home together.
Nice.
And she's an athlete. She's a ninja. She's a hustler also. She owns two businesses. She's also a landlord. She hustles all day long. And she was on the show American Ninja Warrior 4 times. She was a gymnast. So, like, You
went on it with her, right?
Yeah, I did terrible.
And she outshined you the whole
I
saw that one.
I was in fight camp.
He jumped on the pole and he went, oops.
Yeah. I was in the middle of fight camp, and she's like, you have to do this. And I'm like, are you crazy? I'm in the middle of fight camp.
That's not an excuse, bro. That pole.
So then I'm like, all right, I'll do it with you. But it was fun, yeah. And, here we are, man. And I couldn't have... I don't think anyone could have, like, made this up.
No.
Like, everything we've been through. Like, it is like a movie, bro.
That's crazy, bro.
And like when she tells like the story to women, they're all like crying and shit. Of like,
Zia's been crying behind that curtain. Can you hear him? For the last 20 minutes, I could hear. Yeah, bro.
So, but yeah, man, just more to come. Yeah. I know more blessings are gonna come.
We wish you all the best with the new family and everything. Ahmed and Muhammad are great, powerful boys' names. If you
Muhammad and Ahmed.
Muhammad Gordon. And to be honest, he'll get through it everywhere, bro.
Imagine.
It's also in the Bible.
Everywhere.
This name is also a biblical name, bro. It's in there somewhere. Muhammadin is in there. Don't worry, bro.
Muhammad Gordon.
Muhammad Gordon, that's a great one,
bro. She wouldn't take my last name.
No?
She's still a Gambino.
That's all right. Bro, Gambino's a hell of a name, to be honest.
That's what...
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, no, don't. She actually wanted me to take her name. I was like, I can't take your name.
Yeah.
It's a great name.
Look, I'm okay with the community with all the
that.
letters and stuff, but I don't want to join.
Yeah. I'm not taking your name. So we're thinking of naming our
Double
kid
barrel.
Gambino Gordon.
Yeah. So The Flash, does that come from Flash Gordon the movie?
It doesn't actually.
Okay.
So my friend Steven Williams, who's actually really popular on Instagram and Patreon and YouTube. He's got a lot of subscribers. Steven Strangles, they call him. He's John. I was telling you about him. John. He's a John Danaher black belt, stud athlete, and the stud of a human also. He was my first jiu-jitsu instructor, and I always had like good cardio, so I wouldn't stop moving. So that's what they nicknamed me, Flash, because not because
get from the front to the back.
It's not because I'm so fast, because I'm not, but it's because I just.
Yeah,
keep going. So action, yeah. So and then my last name is Gordon, so it just went well.
Jared
made
Flash sense.
Gordon.
I was thinking that if it was after the movie, it would have been.
Yeah,
great,
no. People were like, "Why do you name it?" Like, I'm like, "No, it has nothing to do with."
You haven't come out to Flash the music. Flash.
I did. I did like early. Not. I don't think I did in UFC.
Now, bro. You got to do it again now, bro. Like having a weird come out song.
It's not really like. It doesn't get me going though. You know.
What?
Like, it doesn't give me like that. It's just like, and then I think of Freddie Mercury, I'm like,
Yeah.
like,
yeah.
you know?
True. Yeah, it doesn't really
doesn't-
suit the brand very well. Right?
exactly, bro. It's not like
Yeah, it's true.
it is classic.
You gotta
bro.
do it just for joke, bro. And also just to confuse your opponent, dude.
So do it in Saudi.
Dude, my boy Bam Bam, you tied to Avasa.
Yeah,
He always comes out to the weirdest shit
Yeah, he
ever.
does.
And I asked
like
him once, I was
Britney
like, bro,
Spears or something.
yeah,
Like that.
Barbie Girl, all that. And I was like,
Yeah.
bro, why do you come out to all these songs? He was like, bro, you're gonna remember someone that beat you coming out to Barbie Girl for the rest of your life. Like, you're never
point.
gonna forget that, right?
That's a very good point.
One thing we have to talk about,
Okay,
our boy, the
Bilal.
champ, Bilal Muhammad, finally.
Yes.
But bro, I can show you so many conversations where I'm angrier than he is that he hasn't had that shot yet. So many where I'm just like, why though? Why? Explain it to me. He's like, bro, I don't know, bro.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I'm like, tell me what you did, bro. You did something to
Yeah.
Dana. You said something like, and it's crazy, but like honestly, when I found out, I was happier than he was.
Yeah.
Bro, I love Bilal. Bilal is such a beautiful human being.
Yeah.
He really is. Yeah.
I mean, if anyone deserves it, he deserves it. But it's been
No one else
that's been a
deserves it
normal-
more than,
that's
than
been,
him a title shot.
Yeah,
so.
that's been. But I can't
Yeah.
fucking wait. I can't.
but you
wait.
going?
It's gonna be a good
You
one.
going?
100%, I'm going,
Okay,
bro.
well, I'll
It's
be
in
there.
London.
I'll be there.
That's the only. I say it's in Manchester, but still the same shit.
Yeah. So Bilal is like on another level of a friend.
Mm.
It's like, well, brother. And like everything that he does is not for him. It's for someone else.
Yeah.
Wow.
Literally everything. Yeah. Never like he won't let you pay. He won't like, no, I got you. Let me do it. Yeah. It's like sometimes I'm like, bro, stop being so nice,
Yeah,
bro. Right? This is getting annoying.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna be this nice to you.
Yeah. Because I ain't
So
paying
you're
for you.
making me
Yeah.
fucking look bad.
No, but what a
He
beautiful.
won't even. He
human
doesn't.
being,
You know,
honestly. Yeah.
like me. I'm a degenerate.
Yeah.
I'll curse. He doesn't even curse.
Yeah.
I've heard him curse like 2 or 3 times, and I was like,
Oh wow.
holy
And
crap!
the word
like,
Dana came after it. That's
he,
why.
must be really
Yeah, yeah.
mad right now.
Yeah.
But no, great human being. Completely underrated athlete. I mean,
100%.
I think everyone knows that he's amazing, but even with his win streak and challenging for the title, I don't think people understand how good of an athlete he actually is. Because not only is he he's super athletic, like as a pure athlete, but he's very technical and he works harder than most 99% of guys. So, and he's obviously a man of faith, you know? He has taught me so much about God and how he, you know, serves him, his God. And it's really rubbed off on me. And I'm like, man, I'm a piece of shit. I got to, but
in a
so
good way,
obviously
yeah.
I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
He's Muslim. And it's like such a beautiful thing for me to see.
Yeah.
It's like incredible. You know, we were roommates for like 2 years. We lived in a shitty apartment in Milwaukee.
Like in Milwaukee, yeah. He was gonna say. He sent me a message and said, "Ask him about the apartment in Milwaukee."
Yeah. Disgusting, bro. It was a 2-bedroom, $700 a month. It was
Okay, now we know what's up.
The rug was disgusting. Like when we moved in, the carpet had stains all over it. We didn't even have a TV stand.
Just like blood. You're like, you know, someone's been killed there before, bro.
It was just we just had like a used couch, futon or something, and a TV on the floor, and our mattresses were just on the floor, like. And the kitchen was always a disgusting mess because, you know, we just come, train, eat, throw our dishes in the sink, like every once in a while. So, you know, it was like a fighter house.
Oh my
But
god.
like, you know, we had like nothing really, both of us.
That was a real contender house.
Yeah.
Bro.
And to see like he signed for the title, and it was all because of his faith. Never faltered. Never said, "Why God?" At least to me, he didn't. But I don't think he did to himself either.
It's a testament
always
to
said,
the
brothers,
Palestinians, bro. Like the way
always
they are
said-
now.
God's plan. God's plan. And I mean, like, so I've been to mosques with Bilal. Yesterday, me and Ozzy went to a mosque, and it's like, I can relate so easily to everyone that is in these places. Like, you know, like Ozzy, Bilal, or anyone that's religious or that has a power, you know, believes in something greater than them. And it's all the same principles, man. And they're all the same people, bro. They're all the same. We're all from the same tribe.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's like, you know, the two motorbike people that go past each other and they just both
They all were friends, probably, bro.
Yeah.
Jesus and Muhammad were probably chilling in Nazareth.
You remember I showed you the tree?
You know?
The tree, the one that I showed you?
Yeah, bro. I'm like, all these people's names are in the Bible. All these stories are in the Bible. Yeah. So it's like, we're all the same. Yeah. And I respect it so much. And like, Bilal will be champion.
100%.
I mean, inshallah.
100%.
We really want it.
How'd you see that fight going? Because it was funny, because when I had Bilal on and we were talking, and because, you know, Leon's been shit talking for ages, and you know, the fight got stopped because of the eye poke and stuff, and I was winning the first round, but Bilal's made a very good point. He was like, you can't use that point that you were winning the first 2 rounds or whatever, because when you fought Kamaru, he was winning all the fight until you got one kick in the last round, and then all of a sudden you're the champion. Do you know what I mean? So that's not a point for you to make.
I fought on that card.
Yeah. So was it Paddy that you were fighting on that one?
No, I fought Leo Santos.
Oh yeah. And
I remember watching it, and like it was the last round, a minute left, and then the head kick came up, and we were like, what happened?
For why?
How'd that happen?
Why?
And, you know, but this was the way it was supposed to be, man.
Yeah.
Get his revenge.
It was,
set it up,
fight Leon in Manchester. When he wins there, it's going to be incredible. But I think there's going to be a lot of Muslims there, man.
100%.
A lot of
Manchester.
For we are everywhere, my brother.
Supporting our boy.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy.
And
especially with the Palestine thing going on now.
So I'm really excited. I'll be there. Go get this win, June 22nd, and go help Bilal.
I mean,
my wife's going to hate me.
Yeah, but she'll understand. For that one, she'll understand.
She understands.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get her to come with me. She's like, I'm not going on a plane, pregnant. And I'm like,
wait, how many months will she be then?
Then she'll be like 4 months.
No, that's still cool.
Yeah. Fine.
I can't wait. I honestly can't wait.
Yeah, this is.
Do you know what?
Exciting few months ahead of us.
I'm into manifesting, and I'm into all this and believing all that. I 100% are behind Bilal winning.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other side, let's just say wild stroke of luck, Leon gets another kick and he ends up winning that. Which I don't want to put things into. It's not going to happen. I'm still happy that Bilal finally got the bloody fight.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
because it's like, for me, it went beyond how much it needed to do.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, it kind of seemed like a bit of a conspiracy to me. It's like, are you trying to keep him out as long as possible?
I mean, the timing was terrible.
Yeah.
But like, Palestine needs this.
He needs a champion,
yeah.
And I think that even though the timing was terrible for Bilal, the timing was perfect for Palestine.
Yeah.
So
nothing is for nothing, as we said earlier.
Bro.
Nothing is for nothing.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Bro, how did it feel to fight in the same place as your grandfather? Because he was a beast as well, right?
Yeah, he was a great boxer, 38-3 as a pro.
Would you say that stadium meant more to you than anywhere else?
Yeah, it was very special.
Yeah.
First of all, I trained at Henzel's, which is 3 blocks from Maddison Square Garden. So I used to walk by it every day and look at it and be like, you know, and I used to do a lot of dirt in that area. So for me to go from the streets to MSG, win over a great opponent, knockout, first round, it was really special for me. And I'm sure my grandfather was smiling. Looking down.
I mean,
you know, just being in New York, I was born in Manhattan. I was raised in New York, Long Island, and Queens. Like, I'm a New Yorker. So that's like every kid's dream. Like, oh, I want to play basketball at MSG, or I want to play
do something, yeah.
hockey at MSG,
Like Schultz,
like
Schultz just
on
did
the
MSG,
Rangers.
right, for the comedy show for his tour. Andrew Schultz.
Where, what did you say? I couldn't
Andrew
hear.
Schultz, he
Yeah.
just did MSG twice. Like for him, that was a big thing as well.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
It's an epic mecca, the
yeah.
mecca of fighting, you know? So, yeah, it was amazing. And the whole week was just like perfect, dude. Like all my friends were there, all my family, all the spots I used to go to, training at Henzo's for all my workouts, just like the food, like everything was just like perfect, man. And then to win like that, and it was like funny, man, because you know, after you win now, like you can't go in the crowd. They're like, all right, time to go back to the hotel.
Yeah.
So like you do your interviews, you get changed, and I was back in, you know, like a truck, like a
the van,
GMC
the bus,
or whatever it was, going back to the hotel, just me and my coach, Kami, and he's like, yo, you want pizza? I'm like, yes. Yes. Like, all right, I'll go to the pizzeria. And I was like, all right, I'll go up to the room. And I was up there, and all my friends and family were still at the fight. So I was like, no, don't leave. You guys spend like a lot of money on tickets. Yeah. Watch the fights. I'll be at the hotel. You see me after. Okay. So I was sitting in the room, and I was on like the 20-something floor, or maybe even higher, and it was in Times Square. So all the huge billboards and the lights, New York City, Big Apple shit. And I'm sitting on the bed alone, looking out the window, and I'm like, this is fucking God, bro.
Incredible.
Just incredible feeling, like just being like, looking at like my city. Yeah. Like I just won by knockout MSG.
It was like Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm the king of the world.
Dude, it was like incredible moment. And then to eat all that pizza.
Yeah.
Even better.
Who would be your, I mean, I asked this to a lot of fighters because it interests me a lot. Past, present fight that you would have wanted to be involved in.
Like,
one past.
Who do I want to fight?
Yeah.
Oh, like new, old opponent, like someone,
anyone from the past history of, obviously, that fight that you would have wanted to be a part of.
That's a good question. From the past, I would love to have fought BJ Penn. And I actually fought on a card with him. His last fight was my UFC debut.
Wow.
In Oklahoma, 2017, a year after I got sober. He got his ass kicked by Dennis Seaver.
Yeah.
And present, who would I want to fight now? Like, who do I want to fight after I win this next one? Or who do I want to fight, like, down the line? Or just...
Both.
I mean, so...
You don't really have a choice after this next one, right? So...
What do you mean?
Because they're going to be like, here's the fight. You're going to be like, all right, cool, whatever.
Well, sometimes. Well, maybe.
You don't get to really choose.
No, you don't get to choose.
Yeah. You get to drop some hints. Be like, hey.
I would like to get my rematch with Bobby and Patty.
Yeah.
Because I clearly won the Patty fight.
They're not going to give you that guy,
I was beating Bobby. Or I know he doesn't have a fight now, and I really like him as a person. He's hysterical, and he's a really good fighter. Moicano. I think that's I mean, I got a fight in the rankings. Everyone's fucking good. So, but I just know he doesn't have a fight. I was gonna ask for the worst fight in the division. For me, I think is the worst was BSD. Benoit Saint Denis.
Yeah, interesting.
Because like I think the UFC would respect that. Like tough ass fight.
Yeah.
And Nasrat's a southpaw. BSD's a southpaw. So I've been getting ready for southpaws.
Yeah.
So I think it was just a natural. Now I got Ozzy on the team. So yeah, I mean, I'm trying to get another like 3-4 good years out of this. I know I'm not the youngest guy, but like I said before, I'm the best I've ever been. I'm the healthiest I've ever been. I'm the strongest I've ever been. I'm the smartest and the most spiritually fit. So like I don't see why there's an issue with fighting longer.
Okay, so you get yourself to a title fight. Who's holding that title at that time?
Oh man. I mean, I would imagine that I would imagine Armin is going to be a title holder soon. I don't think. I mean, do you think Max Holloway is going to fight for a 55-pound title soon? No. Never know, bro.
Well, now
I heard they're already starting.
This question is the most unpredictable
Yeah, right.
because
Bro,
you're
you have
asking
no
about the
idea.
division.
Yeah.
That is
So
the
many
most.
variables.
Yes.
Right.
It's the
There's so many things that could happen to anyone that will
lightweight
exclude
division.
them or-
Yeah, lightweight division is. I
crazy
think
one.
it's one of the most unpredictable divisions.
100%, dude.
It's such a division where you have such a balanced athletes in the terms of physical strength, dynamics.
They're all good.
And
They're all strong and fast.
yes,
They're
yes,
already-
these guys are technically sound. It's not like heavyweights; they lack specific things. Then the guys who super light, they lack it. This is the center. The lightweights are the center.
I feel like the lightweights are like high school. Like if you compare the different weights to like university and primary school and just high school kids.
High school in terms of what?
In terms of they're just, you know, when you're in high school and you're just like ready to go, whatever's happening, you're not asking who we're playing next week. You're just going to play, like kind of thing. Like you're just ready to go.
Am I mistaken, or isn't it the most populated category?
Yeah.
Yeah, 155 is the most populated category in the world.
80, in the world. But in UFC too, there's 55 is the most stacked division. And populated division.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to ask a question that's going to bring no politics into the conversation at all. For you, Ozzy. Jiu-Jitsu, Sambo. One of them has to go for
Jiu-Jitsu, 100%.
Why?
People forget one interesting thing, and this happens due to the format of competitions that Jiu-Jitsu are doing. Jiu-Jitsu is the most liberated form of grappling on the planet. Therefore, whatever wrestling has, Jiu-Jitsu has. Whatever Sambo has, Jiu-Jitsu has. What happens here, due to the specific rule set of a competitions in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, athletes and the coaches are forced to specialize only in the specific things to maximize the efficiency of chasing the medals. And what happened is they cut certain takedowns, which in a 10-minute match, you rather pull guard sometimes in certain situations than spend an energy on finding that takedown that just gives you 2 points. You understand? So the competition settings forced the style of fighting, not the sport itself. It didn't change the sport. It didn't change the functionality of the sport. If you take Jiu-Jitsu as a whole and take Sambo as a whole, Jiu-Jitsu is 3 times more complete than Sambo.
Cut that for TikTok, please. Just that last sentence, please.
And it's just the problem is it's not taught correctly in most of the times. Not correctly, but it's not taught the way how it should be as a whole, as a martial arts, because Jiu-Jitsu became so great for business. Jiu-Jitsu allows people who are not super athletic, people who doesn't need to be a fighters still to be able to participate in a form of fighting that simulates so much the cage fighting. You can, and very rare you'll see a 50 years older who starts wrestling and he's still 54, 55 already at a high level wrestling and learning high level techniques of wrestling. Wrestling, Sambo has so many athletic criteria to be performed at a, let's say, black belt level. If there would be belts in wrestling, in order to do certain particular moves in wrestling at the black belt level, you need athleticism. In Jiu-Jitsu, athleticism doesn't hold such a high place and a hierarchy of criteria that you need in order to perform Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at the high skill levels. I'm not saying at the high world championship competition level, but in the terms of wholeness of the art, wholeness of the science of grappling.
So true. You're not seeing any new 50-year-olds doing spinning escapes while bridging, going to an opposite angle.
Does this make sense? It's just
or you don't see like 50-year-olds like deciding to like I'm gonna go do some freestyle wrestling.
It's
break your back.
It's almost impossible unless you have a very specific private training partner who knows you so well, who knows his body so well, and is able to adapt to your flaws and to your errors of the performing the technique, where if we land, you may get hurt.
Yeah, and they have to be. And
yes.
And that partner, especially if you're starting, has to be at least a brown or a black belt.
Thank you.
Even when I first started jiu-jitsu, I broke my ribs twice. Because some big head white belt that I was with, one of them was actually a blue belt who did it, but just like falling and landing like, 12 to 6 elbows straight in the ribs and having no idea. It's like that person has to be cool, collected, know when they're falling, how to fall.
So if I had to, I think just yesterday, no, not yesterday, Friday night when we finished our rolls, somebody asked me, Coach, what is your favorite form of combat? And I said, not just combat. If I was given a choice of only one physical activity for my overall physical and mental strength and health, everything, swimming, running, you name it, I would choose Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Yes, it is, to me, to my analysis of the combat arts, of my analysis of human body mechanics and psychology, Jiu-Jitsu is the most complete form of activity for a human to do in the terms of being balanced in fitness, physical health, mental health, fun, because the variety of action that happens, the variety of techniques that you can apply and continuously learn and attain and improve and modify, there's no other sport can match it. Boxing has X amount of moves.
You say fun. I just want to specify that fun starts happening after blue belt, and then it goes back again.
The fun starts when you become the hammer.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you the nail, not much fun.
Exactly.
Is it?
What do you guys think of the CGI? Have you heard of what's happening now?
The what?
What Craig is doing, Craig Jones?
In the terms of
he's doing like $1 million tournament or something, right?
Yeah, so he's doing a tournament, same day, same location as ADCC. Prize money for so that's $3 million.
So they're trying to screw ADCC.
Oh, really?
So
wow.
$1 million for male, $1 million for female. You get $10,000 just for showing up. ADCC champion wins $10,000 after winning 4 fights against the best grapplers in the world. 4th place will get $1,000.
Why? What's going on? What's the politics behind it?
He just wants to.
Who is the funding?
I can off camera. I can talk off camera. Not on camera.
This is where the interesting part. That everything else, all those millions and announcements, it's the cover of the book. We need to, in order to know why, we need to know who.
Maybe after the event.
Yes.
But I mean, what do you think about that? Like, for the people, a lot of the fighters from ADCC have shifted over to the CGI because it's $1 million. $1 million to a Brazilian who lives in Brazil.
Incredible.
It's a lot more than $10,000. You get 10,001 just to show. The one is Craig's paying the one for every person. 10,001 just to show up. Whether you win, lose, draw, whatever.
Good for them, man. If these kind of things are good for
August, same day as ADCC.
These kind of things are good for everybody.
Where?
Vegas.
Where's the ADCC?
Vegas.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's insane. These
really
and he's fighting Gabby Garcia on that card as well.
He is?
Yeah.
This guy's a lunatic. I love this. I love this. He liberates himself. You know, he allows himself to be.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Well, it's great, man. It's I wish when I was heavily grappling, somebody did something like this. You remember when we were competing in all those grappling tournaments? We were only losing money.
It costs money.
Yeah, but this is great.
Since that happened, they were on a live yesterday with Mo Jassim, and they were talking about why do the women's get paid less than the men? Women get $4,000, men get $10,000 for winning, and he was like, okay, it's going to be even for this event, 10,000 each. So already, it's bringing up questions, right? And it's starting to stir the pot a little bit, and now they both get paid the same.
What is your opinion? You tell me.
I love it.
No. In the terms of different pay, how do you see that?
Look, so they're saying, look, more people want to watch the men than the women, and they're getting more ticket sales, so they should get more. I think the amount of money that they're making from flow grappling, from all of that stuff, they
Should
have
allow
enough
them.
to pay them more.
So I became a promoter
From
as
floor grappling.
From the pay-per-view.
yeah.
Okay.
I became a promoter myself. I run an amateur league, MMA league in
The 971, that one that just
no,
started now?
no. In New Jersey, it's called Revolt Fighting League, and I quickly started realizing when I was running these events, I did 7 events. I started understanding more and more why there is a different pace and why. I mean, in general, we do understand why there is a different pay, okay? But then the intricacies of that action start coming out when you're seeing certain athletes, how much they give to the promotion when they fight, and how the other athletes come just to take.
Yeah.
You understand? And the appreciation value is different now for the athlete who comes and brings so much with him to your promotion versus a guy who may be higher record than him, better skill set than him, but he comes just to take from the promotion. You know, and I remember when I was looking into this stuff and I spoke to one of the officials who helped me to do the event, who's been around for the longest time. Jared knows him too. And he explained me, he said, yeah, he says, this is the thing. Fans don't understand. Fans love a fighter. He does so good and they want the fighter to get paid so much. But the guys on top, they calculate things. They see, hey, what does he bring to us? Why should we pay him? You know? So a lot of times, I think in jiu-jitsu now, the people's interest in watching female athletes is rising big time because we have some superstars, right?
Yeah, you got Fionn, you got a lot of them, man.
So yes, absolutely.
I don't know any of them.
If they bring in,
That's because you're a good husband and you do not look at other women. You lower your gaze.
hey, if my wife watches this one, cut this part. I don't know none of them too. Trust me. But if they're bringing the value into the promotion, why not? Ray's making more than the guy gets paid then. If she brings it in.
Well, I mean,
you know?
it brings a whole other demographic, obviously. So having women included is, I think, paramount now.
Yeah,
especially with politics.
Yeah.
You don't have women. You know, it's like my gym. The girls aren't allowed.
Oh, really?
Where I train, yeah.
Here?
No.
Oh.
Florida.
I would have said it makes more sense here.
They just don't want to. They just don't want to train women.
Really?
Yeah, bro. They were like, no.
Listen, I think it's their right.
Everyone to themselves, dude.
Yeah.
Everyone to
They're like,
themselves.
They don't like want. They're like, we just don't want to deal with women.
Yeah.
Which I understand.
Yeah.
And I will clip that one too for TikTok. And please put also if you can put a big,
And also,
longer
I
beard
think
on
it
him,
gets
please.
weird too, bro. In an MMA gym,
Yeah.
you got some girl.
Yeah.
You're surrounded by a bunch of testosterone
Testosterone.
dudes. Like, what do you think's gonna happen? Someone is gonna.
Yeah.
Or should I say, multiple men are gonna.
Yeah. I never have seen a gym where
It
it's a
never
mix.
works out.
It's a mix and it works out. I never have seen
Never,
it. There's
bro.
always problems.
Always something.
Always.
And then it turns into a whole conflict.
Yeah.
I mean, off camera, we can talk about a lot more detail about those problems because we probably know all the same problems.
Of course, bro.
Is there anything that you felt like we missed out?
No.
No? Other than your arm being raised?
That's it. June 22nd. Come watch me win. I think it's on ABC and ESPN Plus.
I mean, I'd rather you just give me a ticket so I can just get on a plane to Saudi and just go, bro. But if you want to be like that, I mean, you didn't even message me when you're here, so I
want
don't
a
expect
ticket?
a ticket, bro. Yeah. Of course, bro.
All right.
But I know the UFC, like, they give you half a ticket and go split it between 2 friends, bro. Like, they're really bad with
4
tickets
people
for
will
fighters,
sit, yeah.
bro.
I think I could probably get you one.
Dude, I'm down.
I'll just give me a few days to confirm.
That's it. Your camel bagger depends on it. If I get no tickets, your camel bagger depends on it. If I get no tickets, it's McDonald's, my friend.
Oh, hell yeah. I like McDonald's.
He's like, yeah,
I want a Big Mac. Yeah.
Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure
Thank you, bro.
having you guys here. I know you got things to do. It's almost 11 o'clock. Is it 11 or 10?
Is it really?
10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow, you did good job. Time flew by fast, huh?
Of course.
Having fun.
Like him, I am good at my skills. Like you, as coach, you know? Before you know it, you're finished. You almost died. The AC is not on. But
And you're still smiling with the
wrinkles, right?
I see you.
You guys, wishing you all the best. I would love to be there. If not, I will probably try and wake up for the fight, but sleep again and then struggle to wake up to watch it.
Well,
No,
it's
it'll
in
be a good
Saudi,
time. Yeah, it'll be perfect time.
Brother, we all good now. Don't have to worry about
We'll be
that.
there.
Wait, no, it actually might be at 1 a.m.
No, but that's 1 a.m. here this time. That's fine for me. I
Right,
sleep at like
okay.
3.
Right,
It's not a problem. Are you going to be fighting in the new gloves?
Yeah.
The gold ones? Oh, they're just...
Eventually.
No.
That's just for
Eventually,
champ-
yeah.
All
that's
right,
just
but are they going to be selling them there?
I have no idea.
Okay, I'm a crazy memorabilia collector,
Probably.
so I want to get loads of those.
I know
gold
you could
gloves
buy
and
them
get them
online. I
signed
saw
and stuff.
people buy them
Yeah, but it's in
online.
America. By the time it gets to here, they're going to have a purple glove instead of the gold one by the
yeah.
time it happens.
All right.
Guys, thank you again, man. It's been an absolute pleasure. Your story is amazing as always.
Thank you, brother.
And yeah, know that you always got family in Dubai, man. Anytime you need
man.
anything, I'm here. Ozzy,
Pleasure.
thank you so much.
My brother.
See you
Thank
soon.
you so much,
my brother.
Thank you.
Boom.